Hi, welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and tonight we have a really incredible show. Tonight's guest, her name is Lilo. She's a singer, songwriter, pianist, guitarist based in Yorkshire, UK, and she is my first overseas artist. Most of the artists that I interview are based here in the US or in Canada, but I saw Lilo on Instagram and I knew I had to have her on my show because she's incredible. She does tons of covers, her own music, and she loves performing, loves writing. So we're gonna bring her in the room shortly, but I start each show with a song lyric. Hi Justin, how are you? I start each show with a song lyric. And so the song lyric that I'm going to share with you tonight is actually from a song from Lilo's unreleased song, Bright Lights. So I'm just going to get right into it. We enter the city, it's dark. These bright lights shining down on me. I close my eyes and feel the music. It fills me, overpowering all insecurity. So like I said, that's from an unreleased song called Bright Lights that Lilo has not released yet, but she gave us the exclusive right here. So I'm very happy for her sharing that for us. And maybe if we're lucky, she will play that for us later on in the show. So we are going to hang tight and wait for her. I hope you guys are having an incredible weekend, staying warm. We got hit with a lot of snow here in New York. And Lilo is in the chat. So Lilo, join our live and we will bring you in and we will get this interview started. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Lilo.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's your evening going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm ready to play some tunes and have a chat.
Yes, I'm so excited. So right before you hopped in the room, I shared lyrics from your song Bright Lights.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the lyrics from the song? It's also an unreleased song, so I'd love to learn a little more about your whole creative process when writing this song.
Of course, yeah. So I write quite a lot of metaphors in my songs, and this is basically, so the lyrics you said, I think, are about entering a city and the lights being bright. So it's a metaphor that going somewhere new, moving away from home is like very daunting. I found it quite daunting. But music in any situation calms you down and just makes everything better. So it's kind of just saying that at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, you always have music. Like for me, music's like my comfort blanket. And also, you know, like Friends, the TV show. Wherever I am, I always feel comfortable if I'm watching Friends, and it's the same with music. So it's just kind of about feeling comfortable when there's something really scary happening.
Mm-hmm. So you said that you watched Friends. Who's your favorite character of Friends?
Phoebe.
Yeah?
I love Phoebe. Oh, Ross. Oh my God, I love Ross so much. Yeah, Phoebe or Ross. I love how crazy Phoebe is.
I love it. That's so fun. Yeah, Friends is one of those shows. It's been on forever and they keep showing reruns and it's like, oh, it's such a good show.
Yeah, I'll never stop watching it. I've genuinely seen every episode, every single one, probably like 7 times. Because I just go, when I think it's on Netflix now, yeah, it still is. I just like sit and just watch every single one whenever I can. Like if I'm having a shower, I'll just have it on in the background.
I love that. You are a Friends fan.
Yeah. I love it so much.
Very cool. So Bright Lights, the lyrics that we discussed earlier, when is this song going to be released?
So it's one of those that's like in the process of me writing it. I haven't finished it yet. With some songs, I literally write them in like 10 minutes, and other ones take like 2 years. Like it just depends on my mental space and if I still relate to the song. And I'm really a big believer in you can't force a song, and you can't force a melody, you can't force it to feel right. And I'll never say a song is done if I don't like love it. So I much prefer to be like, right, it's not working at the moment. Like I love that section of the song so much, and one day I'll find the right bits to go around it, and I'm getting there. But at the moment, I'm like, I love that bit, but I can't find the missing pieces. They'll come to me, but just not yet. So it's just a little melody, like a section I just love so much. And I can't wait for it to be finished, and then I'll release it.
Awesome. I love it. you're a classically trained pianist and you've been playing since you were 4 years old. What
Yeah.
got you into music and who inspired you?
Well, I started piano lessons when I was 4. I was very lucky that my parents wanted their kids to play an instrument, see what they thought of it, and they were always like, if you don't enjoy it, stop. If you don't enjoy it, just stop. And I always loved it. And even through like the more like boring bits of like going through all the grades and like missing my lunchtime each week and just sitting and playing the piano, playing like the boring classical pieces, I just really enjoyed it. And I found the more I practiced, the better I got, so the more rewarding it was. So I just really, really loved it. And then I have kind of fallen in love with Elton John probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, whoa. Then I read his book. I just love him so much. I love the way he performs. I love the way he plays piano. I love the melodies he has in like contrast to how the chords progress throughout the song. I just love so much about him. And yeah, he really massively inspires me, like from a piano perspective, and also just as a performer and a person. I just love him.
Yeah, he's such an incredible performer. His career has stood the test of time. And when you think of his catalog of music, and you're right, everything about him is just so legendary. Now, do you have a favorite Elton John song?
I think it's "I'm Still Standing."
Mm-hmm.
In the chorus, I've never played the song. I've never like actually worked out the notes of the chords, but something about the chorus when he actually goes, "I'm still standing," I feel like it should be a note higher, but because it isn't, that's what makes it like it gives it like a minor feel, almost like an edge to it. And every time I like be walking like around Sainsbury's, which is just a supermarket here, I just be walking around listening to it. I'm like, still when it comes on, there it is every time. Probably that one. Like I love all the classic with Tiny Dancer and all that, but oh my god, I love that one. I could listen to that on loops. Oh my god.
Oh, it's a good song. Now, did you say you haven't learned it yet as a cover?
I haven't. No, I should really. I should give it a go.
Yes, please tag me when you do it. I want that video.
I'd actually love to. I haven't even thought about covering that. Yeah, I actually will. I will.
Awesome. Yay. So how would you describe the music that you create?
For me, there's so many different genres in music, but when I listen to a song, if someone says it's a genre that I don't particularly listen to much, something like metal or something, I don't think, oh, I won't like that because it's not the genre I like. I'll think, well, at the end of the day, when you hear a song, you either feel it or you don't. And I write music that I feel, and I think scientifically, like if I feel it, that means surely someone else in the world will feel it too.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, so if 2 people can feel it, maybe 3 people can feel it. So, and then I'm just so curious. I'm like, the more people that hear it, I'm like, but do you feel it? Do you feel it? And then recently I've been discovering that like people do feel it and they do enjoy my music. I'm like, oh my God, this is like my dream come true. Someone enjoys the thing I make. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I forgot your question, but it was, I don't
know. Like, how would you describe the music that you create?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I would describe it as music I feel. Although more specifically, I like to write music that's cinematic, that tells a story, but that not kind of singer-songwriter story, kind of singer-songwriter story mixed with like cinematic, like more heavily produced things. So for example, I love the thought of like mixing 2 people that hate each other, Taylor Swift and Kanye West. I'd love to mix their music, and that's the kind of music I want to make.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, because you'd have the story of and the amazing lyrics, and then you'd have the like vast dramatic production of Kanye with like a groove and like really, really cool syncopation that you don't really think of. Mixing that, I think, would be really cool, and that's what I'd love to like create as I go. Hopefully I go up. My God, I might go like that, but you know, as I go.
I love it. Now you touched on this a little bit earlier, but what's your creative process like?
It varies quite a lot depending on. So like in lockdown, I'm more often than not coming to the piano and being like, right, let's see if we can write a song. But in normal life, I don't do that much. It's more, it will like appear when I'm doing something. So I'll be like, when I was in London, I was like, just sitting with my headphones in, listening to other music, and I'll suddenly just think of something, some melody, and then I'll be like recording it to my phone when everyone's like, what's she doing? I'm like, don't worry. Yeah, so it kind of comes to me sometimes, maybe in the shower. I've had some melodies come to me when I'm sleeping, and I've kind of like sat up out my sleep, like, I need to write this down. And it's so lucky that it's actually woken me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens in normal life, but in lockdown, it's been more like I feel inspired each day, and then it gets to a point where I'm like, right, I've got to write a song now. I'm too inspired, and then I sit down, I hit record on my phone, I just play whatever comes out, and then at some point in one of those sessions, I like what I do.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you said you're constantly writing, like you're always writing down things. You can hear a conversation, you could be on the bus, you could be anywhere, and you're just constantly writing.
Yeah, like constantly, like even I'll just be sitting having dinner with like my mum, and I'll just be thinking of, like, I just can't stop. I think the more I write as well, and the more my life has become just music, is the more my mind is constantly like trying to make up new melodies and things. So it's when I'm not even think about it, I still do it. And on the days where I'm like resting my voice, or you know, I want to take a break, do something different, like do some baking, which I love. I'll be baking and I'll just be humming melody. I'm like, oh, you better write this down. So I can't really stop. But I'm happy I'm happy. I prefer to be like that than like struggling to come up with stuff. That really freaks me out, that might happen. It won't happen. No, I want to manifest it doesn't happen.
But it's cool that like things will come to you in the most random spots.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that have writer's blocks, and they're like, I don't know what to write about. I'm in this weird funk, and like I can't write. It just feels weird for me. But that's very cool.
Yeah, thankfully I haven't had that, and I'm like touching wood. I'm like, I never want to get that. But I do think, like I said earlier, like I never force myself, and I think I can imagine like getting writer's block if I'd sat at the piano and be like, I have to write a song now. But because I'm not like signed to a label or anything, I've never had anyone saying to me, you have to release an album this date, you have to start making music. I've always been ahead of it. I've always like gone to my producer, he's like, let's do more songs. I send him like 50. It's always been that situation. Yeah. I hope it stays like that. Yeah.
So are these songs that you just feel like you write quickly, or are these songs that are locked away that you're just like, I'm just ready for them to come out into the world?
Both. I have like a list in a book, and I just like put 1 and the title, and 2 and it just goes on for a lot of A4 pages. But so yeah, I think it's because I was writing for 3 years before I released my first song officially. So I have 4 songs out now. My first one came out in August of last year. But I've been writing since I was kind of 17, 16. So yeah, they just built up. But also sometimes I do write them quite quickly. It's kind of like they fall into place. So I'll have a section, I'll have a chorus I love from like 2 years ago. And it pops up every few months. And I'm like, I have to do something with that chorus. So then the time feels right. I sit down, I just write the whole song. It's just done. And then I'm like, right, okay, finished. So sometimes pieces just kind of come together, which is great.
Oh, I love that. Very cool. So when you were 17, you performed on stage for the first time. You did cover songs as well as your originals. What do you remember most about that performer?
Like blacking out. I can't explain how nervous I was. I went to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, and my chest, when I get nervous, my chest goes so red, and like honestly I was like shaking, and I just remember being unbelievably nervous. But at the same time, if someone said to me, oh, it's cancelled, you can't do it, like I would be so upset. So that's how I knew. I was like, my friends were like, you look like you're ill, like are you? I'm like, no, but I want to do it. Because I knew once I'd done one, then for the rest of my life I can be like, I've done it before. But just that first time, you can never tell yourself you've done it before. So yeah, I just remember being really, really scared. But then I got a really good reaction. But it was my friends, so I was like, well, of course they're gonna say it's good. But then for the next few kind of days, I had people at school who I didn't know from different years. They're like, "Oh my God, you were so good." I'm like, "What, really?" So it kind of like really gave me a lot of confidence. Then I did it again, and each time I enjoyed it more. And like it kind of went from 99% nerves, 1% excitement, and it like slowly balanced out each time I did it, and to the point where it was like 90% excitement, 10% nerves. So yeah, now I just get so excited.
Yeah, I think it's so important because I think the first time like we perform, we are nervous, right? Because you
Yeah.
never before, but then once you start doing it enough, it's just like, yeah, you still could be nervous, but you're also excited because you get to play your music for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when I was doing gigs like around my hometown, whilst I was still doing my A levels, which are just like exams,
Mhm.
is I'd go around to the little bars and perform in all the bars, and each time I did it, I just like got more confident. Like I introduced myself more. I made little like jokes throughout it, and it became something that I just was like, oh my God, I can do this. Like I can
Right.
think about how exactly what I'll say, and I can think about how I'm gonna sing that bit more, because it was kind of for the beginning it was like I just want to get through it, I just want to do it without mistakes, but
Right.
then it gets to the point where I was like, I want to sing this bit better, I want, then you can kind of perfect it as you can think it through as you're doing it, because the first few times I have barely any memory because I was just blacked out.
And then you can always improve and, like you said, find ways to get better. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I should have hit the note like this instead of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Very,
and my friends, they're so sweet, and they would like video me, then I'd
uh,
watch it back, and I post bits on my Instagram, which is crazy to look back now from like 3 years ago, and
yeah.
I'm like so nervous singing, but then I could listen and be like, oh, okay, so that wasn't good, let's sort that out, and
Mhm.
yeah, so it was really useful.
Hmm. You've covered songs by Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Dua Lipa, and countless others. What's your favorite song to perform and why?
Favorite cover song? Ooh, um, when honestly looking back, like I didn't know anything about singing at the time, but I really liked singing Symphony by Zara Larsson.
Uh-huh.
I haven't listened to it in so long, but at the time I really liked it, and my friend played piano because it's too difficult. Well, at the time it was like too difficult to think about playing piano and singing that song because it's a difficult
Right.
song.
Yeah.
I really like that one because what I think in general, I think British people speak. I've heard that British people speak a bit quieter than other places like America and Canada and places. And
Right.
apparently, we're more. It's a lot easier to begin singing as a British person in falsetto. Like it's easy to do the head voice, the high stuff, because it's like we're used to singing softly, and
Right.
it's a lot harder to like build your chest voice, which is like the low, strong voice.
Hmm.
And but in like America, I think I've heard people kind of speak a bit louder, and therefore it's much more natural to like build the chest voice and sing like
Hmm.
the bigger songs. So
Yeah.
for me, when I didn't know much about it, I was like, I just want to sing like the falsetto songs because that's more like how I speak. So
Hmm.
I just did all the little high ones, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you can go so high!" I'm like, "I can't go low, but yeah, I can go a little bit high." So I did a lot of like the high songs because that's what I felt I could do. And now, like my vocal coach, I've just worked on building a proper chest voice, but it's just so unnatural for me. So it's getting there. Oh my God, it's getting there slowly.
Slowly but surely, right?
Yeah.
What other musicians do you admire?
I recently I've been obsessed with Dua Lipa.
Hmm.
I she brings something really new to the industry. I
Right.
think she's got such great energy. Her songs, I just think she's incredible. Really, I think she's got a really good message. She really inspires me, especially as a woman in music. She really inspires me. And I think she's a great performer. I saw her live
Oh, cool.
like 2 or 3 years ago. It was when she was like everyone was talking about her, but she wasn't like as big as she is now. It was like just before she absolutely exploded. I think New Rules had like just come out.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I saw her, and me and my friends were like, "Oh my God, she's gonna be like the biggest in the world." And I really really like her, and I think her music, it's it's mainstream pop music, but it has something different because she's got the unique sound in her voice, like the raspiness, and then
Right.
she's also that I think her songs, like some of the bridges in her songs, like the bridge in Physical, oh my god, it gives me goosebumps. I love it so much. So at the moment, she's like my biggest inspiration for sure. And the fact she's British and she's really done it herself, and she didn't have connections. She really like worked for it for years. Yeah, so I'm really, really inspired by her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dua Lipa is so amazing. So when you saw her right before she blew up, how big was the venue that you saw her in?
It was, I think it's classed as an arena, but it's not like it was like probably like 300 to 400 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it's called an arena, but it's there weren't any seats. It's just like all standing, and then I think there might have been a balcony, but that was standing too. But it's like for what she is now, it's like tiny.
Yeah,
yeah,
plays all over the world now.
yeah. So it was crazy to see how I was so close to the front as well. I was like, I wasn't the front row. I was like 2 or 3 people, because it's all like a crowd, you know, everyone's like around each other. There's probably like 2 or 3 people in front of me. She was so close. Oh, it's so cool.
Okay. Who would you most like to collaborate with?
The Weeknd or Kanye West.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my God. The Weeknd for sure at the moment. I think his music's like a whole different level. In the same way, I think Dua Lipa's music is a whole other level. I think they're like on par with each other. I absolutely love the production of the Weeknd songs, and I love how they produce his voice. I love how he uses his voice.
Oh yeah.
It's just such like a nighttime vibe. Just like like I love listening to his music down a fast road in a car, like when it's all dark outside. You know, just that. Oh, so good. So I'd love to collaborate with him. My God.
Yeah, I think it would be so cool just because there are so many differences in both of your careers. And when I ask people this question, I always love to know who and why. And I'm like, yeah, The Weeknd has been around forever. Yeah. And it would be so cool to hear your voices on track together.
Thank you. Yes, let's manifest it. Let's get that into the
You
world.
write it down on paper and you just into existence, and we're speaking it right now in this interview, and it will happen.
Yes, it will happen. It will.
What artists or genres of music have you been listening to during quarantine?
I've been listening to some people I haven't. Okay, so people I listened to recently. There's a girl called Ali X. And I just think she's insane. She's got a song called, I think it's literally just called Bitch, but oh my God, it's so good. It's like a really different, explain her music. It's very different. It's like, I don't know what, it doesn't fit into a genre. It's like catchy. So it's catchy, but it's almost like punk, but then like the way she produces her voice, it's like got distortion on it, and she kind of screams, but it's not like annoying scream. It's just you just have to listen, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I get you, I think. But she's called Ali X, and she's amazing, so I love her. I've been listening to some Mac Miller recently. I like him. I've been listening to Alec Benjamin. If you know of him, I love his storytelling so much. Yeah, who else? I feel like I just listen to so many people. I get asked that question, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, who else have I been listening to? There's all like just the big ones, like Taylor Swift. I just love her so much. Obviously Elton John. Yeah, I do basically everybody. Oh, Conan Gray. He's new. He's on the kind of pop scene. My God, I really like him. He's really good.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be and why?
I think personally, I mean, I don't know much about the industry. I'm very aware that I have no idea how much I don't know, if that makes sense. Like, I know I'm really like naive to it all. But I think making it more accessible. I say that, but then my producer says that it's a lot more accessible than everyone thinks. Apparently it's seen as not accessible, but once you're in it, I don't really know. But I'd want to make it more like, for me, I'm not, my parents aren't musical. I didn't know a soul in the industry. That was kind of why I didn't pursue it till I was kind of 16, 17, because I thought it's impossible. I live in the countryside in the middle of England, like I know no one.
Right.
So I'd want some kind of way. I don't know. The thing I struggle with most is lack of connections and lack of exposure. So for some way, like selfish reasons, that it could be easier to kind of get exposed. But then I feel like if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be in London, I'd be gigging all the time.
Right.
And maybe, you know, things would grow there better than it possibly is like in lockdown. So yeah, I think making more of like a straight path.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something like that. And also, I don't know that much, but they say that when you're signed to a label, you can like lose control of things, and you know, the labels have a lot of artists, and maybe sometimes they don't help some artists more than others. I just think if everything was more kind of fair, equal ground, the artists had a lot of say, things like that. But again, I'm very naive. So we'll see.
And I think when you talk about exposure and COVID, I think that's what it forced us to do, right? Because if this was a regular time, you and I would not be talking, because you'd probably be at a gig. It's a Saturday night. It's 9:30 in the UK. It's 4:30 here in New York. So you would be at a gig, and I probably wouldn't be able to have crossed paths with you if it wasn't for COVID, being in our houses. And yeah, I think the internet has so many amazing capabilities, whether it's YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, all these social media channels where you can just reach people in all corners of the world.
Yeah, it's amazing in many ways. And I think, like, thank God the pandemic's happening in a time where we have social media, because I'd lose my mind if I couldn't release music. I don't know what the hell I do. That would be crazy. So yeah, I just think thank God we do have social media. But yeah, my God, I would love to be doing a gig tonight. But would we all?
You're kind of doing a gig because we're talking and then you're playing some music. So I know we're not, but
no, it's as close to a gig as it can get, and it still it feels very real. Like I get nervous, like I go through all the motions, so it's really, really fun. It is. So yeah.
Totally. What song do you wish you wrote and why?
Oh my God, I have an answer for this. I literally thought this like a week ago. Oh my God, The Scientist by Coldplay.
Oh, yes!
I wish I wrote that song. Oh my God. It's actually, I think every single gig I've ever done, I start with The Scientist by Coldplay.
Yeah.
I just love everything about it. It just gives me goosebumps every single time I hear it. Yeah. And yeah, I just think it's genius. And the music video, I don't know if you've seen it, it's all one take. And Chris Martin was in a car crash with a girl, but it's all done in backwards. It's in reverse, but he mimes correctly. So he learnt the whole song backwards. He could sing this, he could speak the lyrics and read it backwards. So then when they filmed it, he's, you know, miming backwards, but then they reverse it, he's miming normally. But that's just crazy. But apart from the video, I just think the song is insane.
Oh, I think Coldplay is one of those bands, and you hear them and you're like, wow. I mean, some of the lyrics and some of the songs are very simple, but they're just, they touch you. They are definitely incredible, moving musicians.
Yeah, they blow my mind. I think absolute geniuses. Just
So if you couldn't do music, what career path would you choose?
So I couldn't be in the music business either. if like music didn't exist at all somehow.
Yes.
Then, oh my goodness. Because the thing is, I really like business. I really like, my dad's an entrepreneur, and I just kind of, I think I have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. I love being in control of stuff. I like, even with music, like I'm not exactly making lots of money from it, but I have like charts, and I just love like finance stuff. I love maths. But I think at the end of the day, I think if I did that every day, I'd get really bored. But when I was 8, I started playing tennis. And long story short, it grew into this crazy thing, and I was competing nationally when I was between the ages of 10 and 14, and that was like my path of life, was to be a tennis player.
Oh, wow.
I had like a personal trainer and a personal coach and a psychiatrist, and like it was really, really intense, especially for like a 14-year-old. But that's what they all do. Everyone in the tennis world, that's what they all do. It's just a crazy pressure, and everyone just like is used to it, I guess. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I realized that, and therefore I didn't enjoy it. It made me really unhappy, blah, blah, blah. I gave it up. But I gave it up because I wanted to do music. And I was like, so if music didn't exist, maybe I wouldn't have given it up, but I certainly wouldn't be nowhere near as happy as I am now.
Yeah.
That might have been the path though, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, the pressure was crazy, but it taught me how to work hard. So when it comes to music, I just want to give 100%, because I was taught, like, when you walk off the tennis court, you have to be like dead. Like, you have to have given 110%. So that was my mindset in like those very crucial ages, like 10 to 14. Like, that's all I thought. I have to like finish the day 100%, like dead, like needing to go to sleep. So I think when it comes to music, I'm like, I have to finish the day like super tired and super mentally, like I have to have given 100%. So I think when it comes to songwriting and practicing, I'm quite like that. I know how to work hard from tennis. And I think I kind of am grateful that I went through that, because I'm like, right, going to give 100%.
And it's important, especially in times like this, where it's kind of like maybe there's times you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm kind of tired, or I just do it, right? And it's like, how do you find that creativity to continue as a musician?
Yeah, that's it. I think because of tennis, I'm definitely like, I find my parents and sometimes my friends are like, you need to take a break. Like, you need to do something other than music for a minute. It's definitely that way around rather than like the other way around. So my parents would be like, it's a Sunday afternoon, like, you know, get off, you know, improving your website. And I'm like, but I want to do it. So luckily I've never lost inspiration or motivation for music. I think everything else in the world, everything else I can possibly think of, I'd lose motivation for. But when it comes to music, I just seem to have endless motivation for it. I think it's also kind of like fear, because I've made sure like I don't have a backup plan in life. Like, this is it for me. And I love that so much. But it's definitely like, it drives me more, because I'm like, this is all I have. I got to do it. But I like did that myself. I was like, I don't want a plan B, because otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, I'm telling myself, oh, I'll go for plan B. So I just don't want that.
Yeah. You're like, I'm focused on this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to completely immerse myself in music full time. And I love it, because the thing is, when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work to you.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. That's what blows my mind as well, because sometimes I get offered stuff. Like when I did some gigs and they were like, oh, we'll pay you. I'm like, why will you pay me though? Because this is something I want to do. And that just blew my mind, that like I could make money from performing, because it's like, but performing is like a joy. Like, I prefer performing to going on a night out or going for dinner. Do you know what I mean? I prefer it to anything ever. So I'm like, how can someone pay me to do that? So none of it ever feels like work, ever. So it blows my mind that at some point I could be like making serious money from it. Like what? So,
of course. Yeah. And when people offer you money to perform and say like, oh, hey, we're going to give you this amount of money, always take it.
I would.
Or say, oh no, that's a little too low. And you just say, oh no, $200 is too low. You know, my going rate is 300, because, you know, like, I know, like, oh my God, I'm so excited people would offer me money, but like, you bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Yeah, I told my dad this. I was like, but I find it crazy how they want to offer me money. He's like, but accept it though. He's like, don't you? I'm like, no, I will.
Don't accept it, but say like, oh hey, and like bump it up maybe $50 or $100, and then
will.
And then you kind of a little negotiating, and
and
then everyone's happy, right?
Yeah, and then I'll do my best performance, and hopefully it will be okay.
So 2020 was a busy year for you, and you released 4 songs. Turn to Glass was in August, Running in the Rain in September, Blind on Rum in October and Horses Make Me Cry in December. What
Yeah.
made you pick Turn to Glass for your debut single?
So I had 6 songs produced, ready, mixed, mastered to go, and I thought, let's do a song. I actually sent all the 6 songs to like a little group of my closest friends, and family, and people that I know and love, but I know they're gonna give me their honest opinions. And I said, first of all, tell me if you don't like any of them, and second of all, which do you think is the most instantly like catchy? Because my favorite kind of music is music that like draws you in, and music that you maybe haven't heard something similar.
Right.
But I wanted, because I feel like there's 2 different ways to go about releasing music. You either go down the route of people have heard something similar, so they like it because it's familiar,
Right.
and because they like it, then they look at your more stuff, and then you start releasing more like different stuff but deeper stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? You get the masses first and then you pull them in deep, or you go deep first and it grows slower maybe, but the people that love you, they really love the music instead of like it. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. But yeah, so I was like, let's do a song that is the most instantly likable out of those 6. And I just think with Turn to Glass, it starts slow, like a strong, I feel like it pulls you in quite well, and then it kind of speeds up and you don't expect it, and it's very kind of catchy, quickly likable kind of chorus. So yeah, I think that's why. The others, I mean, Blind on Run was the third song I did, and that was quite like instantly likable because it's catchy. But I did Running in the Rain in between because that was more of like a bigger cinematic song. So I kind of tried to like alternate between like super catchy and then like more me, and super catchy and more me. Even though the catchy ones are still me, but they're less kind of, oh, how do I explain it? They're like a mix between me and mainstream.
Right.
Rather than me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know what you mean, because it's kind of like some people talk about mainstream music, some people talk about music that doesn't fit any genre or anything like that. But to put out a diverse group of songs, right, that really showcase your abilities as a singer-songwriter.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Because sometimes, I'm sure you know that sometimes you listen to like a certain artist and you're like, oh, that's this person, because all their songs are the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. I definitely want to have a unique sound.
Right.
And I think as I release more songs, I hope that my sound will become more clear to people. And at the same time, as I write more, like the songs I'm writing at the moment probably won't be heard for at least kind of 4 or 5 months. But I feel like they're the most me songs I've ever written.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for people to hear those, because as I write more, I feel like I understand in my head more like exactly what that sound is that I really want.
Well, we're very excited to hear some of this new music.
Yes, I'm so excited to release it. Oh my god.
So in December, you released your 4th single, Horses Make Me Cry. And congrats on surpassing 5,000 streams on Spotify.
Thank you. It was 50,000.
50,000, sorry. 50,000. I have 50, but when I'm looking at it, 50,000. 50,000 streams on Spotify.
Thank you so much.
I
can't believe that.
The song's only been out a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand how, why, but I'm not complaining. I'm so happy people like that song. I like that one a lot.
Tell us about this song.
So they have these adverts for a bank. I'm not sure if it's just in England, but it's there's this bank called Lloyd's Bank, and they're known for these famous adverts where they have horses, amazing footage of horses running through beaches, or like running through fields, and they're really emotional. You know, like in America, do you have like Christmas adverts from supermarkets? I don't know if this is just a weird British thing, and they're super emotional, and every year all the supermarkets release like a super emotional advert. I don't know if that's just I think it's maybe
you commercials, like commercials.
Yes, commercials.
Yeah, because it's like, people do that in the States.
Yeah, because it's like such a thing. Like there's a supermarket called Sainsbury's, and everyone's just like, oh, what's their one gonna be this year? And it will be like the story of like some cartoon carrots, and it will like get chopped or something, and everyone's like, oh, it's really weird, but it's really sweet. Anyway, Lloyd's, this bank, they have one. It's not a Christmas one, but it's just like known to be really, really emotional. And I was sitting watching television with my mum, and the advert comes on. It's a new one, and these horses, oh my god, they're amazing. And it really kind of got us. And I was like, oh my god, I'm welling up. And my mum just goes, I don't know why, but horses make me cry. And I was like, that's a song title. She's like, that is not a song title. I was like, that's a song title. That is a song title. So then I think she went to have a shower or something. So I like was straight at the piano, and I wrote the whole thing in like 10 minutes. It just flew out.
Wow.
And I was really happy with it. And then I was really, really busy at the time doing other songs and other production and stuff that I kind of forgot about it. And then in October of 2019, I was in London in a hotel. I was on like a little studio trip. I was making Turn to Glass and Blind on Road. I was making all those songs. And I was in the shower, and I was just like listening. I get so scared in showers in hotel rooms. I don't know why, but I was like, I have to have some music on. I've got some.
Yeah.
I was like finding my phone, and I was like, let's listen to some old voice memos. And I came across it, and I was like, oh my god, I have to do something with this. So I literally got out the shower, rang my producer. I was like, next thing we're doing is Horse Make Me Cry. So we did it, and now it's out, and I'm just so pleased that people like it.
Yes, it's so incredible. So talking about all this new music and all the writing that you're doing, what's next for you? Do you have an album that's coming out, more singles? Talk to us about that.
So this year, definitely for the first 6 months, I'm just going to be releasing single. Like a variation of sounds, trying to find my sound. But yeah, songs I love that I've written that I'm really proud of. And I only try to, like, I have like a 5-year plan in life and stuff, but in like as a serious plan, I've got a 6-month plan. Yeah. And then when it gets towards the end of the 6 months, probably like 3 months in, I'll be like, right, what's the following 3 months going to look like? And so on and so forth. So yeah, it's just singles at the moment. I have enough songs genuinely for like 4 albums. I have so many songs.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it will be ridiculous trying to choose which songs to go on an album, but I don't want to release an album right now because I want to grow with each release, and I want I just want to grow a bit more, find my feet a bit more, make sure, because I obviously debut album is such a massive thing. Right. I want to make sure I do it right, and I truly love those songs, and they're not just ones I love for the moment kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. And so you also do live streams pretty frequently. You did one last night. I mean, you do them very frequently. So do you have your next live stream date or in discussion?
Wow. I think my next live stream is going to be soon, and it's going to be the night before I release my next single.
Nice.
So I don't want to say the date yet.
Okay.
But it will be soon, very soon. And I'll play the song that's my next single, and it's quite soon.
Awesome. So excited. So that's all the questions that I have for you this evening, but you're going to perform for us.
Yes, I'm going to play 2 songs. I'm going to do an unreleased song, and then I'm also going to do my latest single, Horse Make Me Cry, because it's a celebration of 50,000 streams. Yeah. I'm going to start with the unreleased song. So this is called Into the Deep. I did this on my live yesterday, near the beginning, I think. Just get this so it doesn't fall. Okay, I wanted to get it so you could see me playing the piano. I just can't.
It's okay.
But yeah, I just have some water. Okay. Yeah, so this is called Into the Deep. I think it will have a piano in it, like when it's produced. Obviously, this is just the acoustic version. But I imagine like lots of strings, very cinematic production. That's what I hope for this song. But yes, this is Into the Deep. Fill my coffee to go. It's a long way home. Get your shoes on, let's go. We've been traveling for days, yet to make a mistake. Ooh, we hope so. Take me Take me to the rooftop, show me all the people that I lost. Hold me like I wasn't there for us. Be free, be somebody I could never easily trust. Tell me that you can't give up into the deep without ever really knowing your name. I look back, what was I doing? Holding on to all your pain, feeling so free without living the life that I'm okay. I don't want to follow you no more, don't want to go your way. Ooh, don't worry about me. I'm easy, I'm fine, completely lost in my beliefs. I'm easy, believe me, so hate me and be free. I don't need you and you need me. I'm fine, so fine, into the deep without ever really knowing your name. I look back, what was I doing? Holding on to all your pain. Now I'm hating myself with that stupid choice I made. I was wrong, I should have gone home, but the heart in me stayed. I'm sorry for the mess I made. Sorry for the lies I'll fade away. But I'm sorry for the truth you didn't tell. Sorry I believed it all so well. You didn't play me like a fool. I was dumb to ever fall for you. I'm sorry. Now the moment is ruined.
Give it up! Woo! Beautiful. I love it. The chat was blowing up for that one.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that one's coming soon.
Yes.
It's on its way. But yeah, that was unreleased. But my next one is Horses Make Me Cry, which has been released. And yeah, this is obviously acoustic version, but check it out if you haven't already. Check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Yeah, but this is Horses Make Me Cry. Written on the walls in the craziest ink you'd ever see. You wouldn't believe how I left things, how I miss my parents. You know, it hurts, I know you know, but I don't mistreat anybody who would come to see me in the nights just to sit there and tell me I'm fine. But I couldn't remember their words. I cried 'cause I didn't deserve to be heard. But I can remember when he gave me the letter, and everyone said I could do so much better. But I didn't care, 'cause it's ink on a page. There's a truth in that heart, but a heart starts to break. Take me back to that moment I had with you, falling in your eyes, shooting stars down my spine. It's ink on a page, there's a truth in that heart, but a heart starts to break. And don't you ever feel like a movie a minute, and you can't ride the wave, so you try to swim with it, but your lips start to shake and you can't stand the pain, so you just walk away. Take me back to the moments I had with you, falling in your eyes, shooting stars down my spine. Oh, I'm constantly so overly emotional, but I don't expect change, thinking I stay this way till I die. And those horses make me cry. Oh, yes, they do. They make me cry. And they'll do it to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Andy, Grace, Luke, Laser, Colette, thank you guys. We see you.
Thank you.
Truly, truly appreciate it. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat below and we will get to them shortly. So tell everybody who doesn't already follow your journey where they can find you on all social media platforms.
Okay, so Spotify, Apple Music, all of the music streaming places, I'm Lilo.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to social media, for everything, I'm Lilo's Music. Yeah. So Twitter, I'm not really on Twitter much yet. But Facebook, I have a Facebook page, which is Lilo's Music. The Instagram is like my main place. I post on YouTube. I do my music videos. I do some vlogs. When life was normal, I was like getting into vlogging. Yeah. I do behind the scenes in music videos. Cool. Sometimes I post like full versions. So like I'll put a clip of an original song on my Instagram and the full versions on my YouTube. So that's Lilo. Yeah, that's just Lilo. The best way to find me is to like type in like horses make me cry Lilo, and then I'll come up. So yeah.
Awesome. So how can people watching this right now support you and your career?
The best way is to help me with exposure. So like putting anything in mind on your story, or just liking, commenting, just engage with me, streaming my songs, just genuinely just listening and interacting. Nothing to do with money or anything, just support at the moment is just the best thing possible for me, because I just want to get exposure.
Yeah, support is so important, because you're right. You're like, some people say, oh, Venmo me or buy my merch or this, but honestly, sometimes just sharing the music of the people that you enjoy listening to, you just never know who will see that. And they're like, oh, and so I found out about this artist and this artist. So yeah, I think word of mouth is so huge.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Where do you want to perform next?
So when everything's open again, I want to perform at a place called Ronnie Scott's. It's like this iconic jazz bar in London, but on, I think it's Tuesdays, they do upstairs in the bar, they have an open mic night. And it's actually where quite a lot of people have been discovered, like Adele sang there, Amy Winehouse sang there. Quite a few people before they were known have sang there, and I don't know whether that's where they got like discovered, but they did a great job there. And it's got, you know, a lot of people that know about the industry. They look for new artists there, and also it's just an amazing place. Like if I wasn't in music, I just want to go there, because it's really, really iconic and really cool. My sister went there. She sent me all these videos. I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. So yeah. So
wait, you've never been there before? You've just heard about it?
Yeah. Just heard about it.
One more time.
Ronnie Scott's. So Ronnie Scott's, and it's in like central London, I think. It's actually crazy because I was down to do the open mic there, and I was like so nervous for it, but I was so excited. And then they called the national lockdown, So everything had to shut. And I was like, no, it was like the Thursday or something. And I was performing the next Tuesday. And then it shut. Yeah. And I was like, no. But when it opens, I'll be there. First night.
Like, please open. I'm going to be there. I was supposed to be there.
Literally. So. I'll be like, this is 2 years late, but I'm here.
Has your creativity increased or decreased during lockdown?
I've had more time for it. So from a time perspective, I definitely put more time into it.
Yeah.
I feel, I don't know, it's been so long now. I'm so used to, like, I definitely get inspired in lockdown, thank goodness. I feel like before lockdown, I was so busy. Mm-hmm. It felt like I had a lot of inspiration because things would come to me, but I was so busy, it would be on the go. So I'd be like, it would feel like it was happening all the time. Right. But I think now I'm inspired like every day. Like I'll think of something pretty much every day. Mm-hmm. And I definitely wasn't doing that every day before. So yeah, I have the time now. I spend a lot more time on it, but I was inspired before lockdown as well. So. Mm-hmm.
What stadium or arena would you most like to play in?
Wembley.
Yeah.
Yeah. My goal in life is to headline a World Stadium tour. And I know it's like such a big goal, but when I first thought that, if I said that to anyone, if I said it to my mum, like she would have been like, come on now, like come on. And there's no one in the world that would have said, oh cool, everyone would be like, yeah, sure. And very, very, very slowly, when I say that to people, like say it to my parents, say it to my friends, say it to people that follow me that I chat to a lot and hear, they're actually like, yeah, you could do that. And just the fact that I've like changed anyone's mind, like my parents genuinely, they've always like believed in me, but they've thought it's such a difficult industry, it's so unlikely. And they think, they thought like, you can be super talented, but we don't know anyone, or like, you know, and they always say like, this the most amazing singer will appear on the X Factor and they'll be like 50, and it's like, where have they been hiding? And it's just because they didn't know anyone. So my parents have seen all this and have thought it's just impossible, but now they've seen that I'm growing a little bit, and I've met people and things that say they believe in me, and it's really made them think like, oh my gosh, like this is possible. So now they fully believe that I could headline World Stadium Tour. They're like, it could happen, instead of like, you're joking. So yeah, that's my goal.
I think it's so important to have big dreams though. Like when you share your dreams with someone and you say Wembley, like you can definitely do that. You just take certain steps to get there. And you know, maybe it won't be, you know, in 6 months, because we'll probably still be but you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's so important to have those goals. And when you talked earlier about having 3-month goals and 6-month goals and then reevaluating them and seeing if you hit them, like I think that's so important to help like keep you on track and keep you accountable, right? Because I feel like as individuals, whether you're in the music industry or not, we all have things we want to do. It could just be something as, oh, I want to build a deck on the back part of my house. Like,
yeah,
somebody might have that goal. Like, okay, that's your goal. But then like, it's so important to have, I think, weekly, monthly, 3 months, 6 months, year, and then see, you know, oh, I hit that goal. So now I'm going to do a bigger goal, and then a bigger goal, and a bigger goal. And it's so important.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I kind of realized at one point as well, that no one knows, like, I mean, this whole pandemic is an example, like no one knows what's going to happen in the future, and no one knows who's going to be president and who's going to be, you know, the biggest singer, who's going to be the biggest athlete. Like no one knows. And when I kind of, also a little sidetrack, but it hit me a couple of years ago, and I was like, adults are just kids grown up. And I know how stupid that sounds, but I was like, there's never a point, I don't think, that you just wake up and you're like, I have my shit together. You know, every single person at every single age is scared, and every single person, like, they have things they aspire to be, they have things they're insecure about, they have things that they love about themselves, you know. And I just feel like it hit me a few years ago, and I was like, oh my god, like no one actually knows what they're doing exactly.
We're just trying to figure it out. Nobody knows.
Everyone's just figuring it out. And when that hit me, I thought, oh my god, like anything's possible. Like no one knows in 5 years who's going to be the biggest singer. No one knows. So I was like, there's actually there's no reason on paper why I couldn't be up there. Like, there's no reason. So I was like, well, if there's no one that's going to stop me, like, there's no one going to be like, no, you shouldn't do it. And I'm going to be like, okay, like, I'm never going to listen to that. So I don't know. Long story short, I just kind of realized, like, why not? Like, I'll just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, I think you need to dream big. Like, you have to have big, crazy, fun goals, and then like you take the necessary steps to get there. And just in lockdown already, I feel like you've put out all these singles. Like, you're constantly doing live streams. When you go on your Instagram, there are all these videos of you playing the piano, you playing guitar, you singing originals, covers. So it's like you're definitely putting yourself out there, and you definitely want people to see you and hear your music. And I think that
thank you. It's that's something that recently I sometimes get very, very caught up, especially in lockdown, in like the day-to-day. And sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I haven't improved since last week. Like, every day is the same, I'm not improving, oh my god. And then sometimes my mum, she's like, just look back at your Instagram. And then I'll look back, and like 2 years ago, when I listen to it now, and I'm like, that sounds terrible, I can't sing, oh my god. And I'm like, no, well, I've improved. I'm better than I was last month. I've released songs now. Like, I just have to remind myself to look at like slightly the bigger pitch, to step away sometimes, because that's the thing I think a lot of artists have been feeling in lockdown, is they're like, I haven't improved, but then you have to look back and realize that you have. So
exactly. And it's like, you're further than you were 3 weeks ago and 6 months ago. And I think that's so important. And we can't be so hard on ourselves, because we are in a pandemic. Like, we're all in our houses. Like, we have all these crazy problems, our friends and our family do. And it's like, we're just trying to do the best we can. So whatever that like for you and for your friend and for your neighbor, like, it's all going to be different. And you put one foot in front of the next, and you just keep moving forward, and you keep smiling, and you keep doing music. And that's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so true. It's just like taking each morning, each day, each evening at a time, and just doing your best, and then it all comes together.
I love that. So what advice do you have for other musicians during this quarantine?
Oh gosh, I haven't thought about that actually. During quarantine, well, I mean, here it's like full lockdown. You're only really allowed at the house to exercise and buy food.
Yeah.
So in that situation, for inspiration, I think what I've become quite good at recently is finding inspiration when there really isn't any. I watch films, but I won't just like pick a random film. I'll really consider like what film is going to make me feel a strong emotion, whether it be happy or sad or scared or sentimental or something. And I'll watch a film that is known to really like make you cry or really freak you out or something, because that anytime I have a strong emotion, whatever emotion it is, if it's strong, I can write a song about it. It's when I don't feel much, that's when I don't write many songs. So I do that, or I'll read a book, and that helps me with lyrics as well, because it just gets my brain kind of thinking in that way, and then I improve my lyrics a bit. And also I think changing your surroundings as much as you can. So at the moment here, I think there's like a 5-mile radius or something you have to stay in. So I've discovered so many walks within my 5-mile radius that I didn't know were there. So just going on different walks and listening to completely different genres of music, listening to artists I've never heard before, mixing everything up. And also, if I'd say to an artist that is struggling inspiration-wise, not to force themselves. If you play the piano, don't sit at the piano for hours and not be productive. Just go, like, bake a cake, go for a walk, work out, watch television. Just never sit there and not enjoy it, because it's nothing good is ever going to happen if you're just sitting there forcing yourself. Yeah,
I think when you talk about being inspired, that's so important, because when you said, I want to have a strong emotion, whether that's laughing, crying, smiling, right? I was like, oh, that actually makes perfect sense. And then walks, like, I've been doing a lot of walks during quarantine, and I think it's so important. Like, even if you literally put your sneakers on and walk around the block, and it's like 6 minutes, you just have this sense of like calmness, and like you breathe fresh air. And yes, it's cold. I mean, it's like 30 degrees here right now. 30 degrees and snowing here, but
oh my gosh,
Yeah, you just you bundle up and you power through.
Yeah, and always feel better when you come back.
I know. I completely agree with that. Luke says, can't wait to meet you in London one day.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to meet you either, Luke. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh my god.
Yay! When things get back to normal.
Yeah.
So Lilo, that's all the time that we have for this evening. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and learn a little bit more about you and your background and your songs and all this wonderful stuff and sharing your music with my audience. Do you have any final words for the room?
I just want to say thank you so much, Ashley, for like giving me this opportunity, letting me play for you. It means so much, especially like at this stage. I'm like just such a little baby, and in this like world, and just the fact that you want to support me at all, like it genuinely means so much. So thank you.
Yes. No, I saw your videos on Instagram. I'm like, who is she? She's adorable. She's talented. And I'm just so thankful for you taking the time out of your schedule to do this. So guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Lilo. And if you don't follow me already, please follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. And I interview incredible musicians all the time. And we appreciate your support. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, guys. Wear your mask and have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you. You too. Yeah, everyone, have a great evening. And that's it. Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Bye.